All right, guys, welcome back once again. We are jumping into our second map here now between the Renegades and compLexity. It is going to be over here on Cobblestone. We did see compLexity taking the first map and their own map pick over on Train, and now we're heading to the Renegades' pick here on Cobblestone. How do we see this map going in general, little man?
I think Renegades is going to take it. I don't know if you're watching the knife round, but they all type kill and console. And now they get to start on the two sides.
Because the first two maps, it's already decided, I think, the sides.
Oh, okay.
So the knife round's like a fake knife round. Because they can't, I think the reason is because they can't do, like, not knife round for the first two maps and then knife round on the third map. Because that's how it works. The third map will have a knife round if we go to it.
I see.
So they have to, like, fake the knife round for the first two maps.
I thought they were just, like, extra confident. Like, we'll take whatever side.
That's what I always thought, too. Apparently there was this Australian team that would do that, though, where they would just throw the knife round, they would just kill themselves, because they were like, we don't even need it.
Yeah, but Nifty got a smoke flash, so we'll see what they do, probably for connector.
Well, Renegades pushing up, and all grouping together, too. We're not seeing that usual split of players, but nice bit of aggression coming out here from Peter as well. Spots the whole play, so there should be pretty quick rotates, and Peter just taking up the paddle. May not have been the smartest idea, as JKS and the others eventually roll over him there. So the first loss is at the hands of compLexity. Rotates are coming in pretty quickly, but they need to move faster. The site's getting overwhelmed in a very fast fashion, so they need to be able to pinch on this quickly before they lose too much control. They're doing a great job of that now with Ye's kill. They're back in the lead, a 3v2, now a 3v1. It's up to JKS to clutch this, as he's going to go for the plant back over here in the corner. But ultimately, won't even be able to get that going. Slemmy denies it, and compLexity take control of the pistol round here on CT side.
Yeah, no plant for the Renegade side. I wonder if they'll force, because in the past they've been saving, so we'll see if they force into this round.
Looks like they're actually going to go for it this time, since they didn't get the plant or anything like that. They really didn't even get close, unfortunately. They had a couple good kills at the start, but once they actually got onto the site, they really fell behind in their kill totals there. So it looks like they do decide to force towards it this time. They're not going to take that passive route that we're used to seeing for the Renegades. This is actually kind of surprising to see this kind of buy, specifically from this roster. As historically speaking, they're pretty okay with saving in a very heavy fashion for those next couple of rounds, but we'll see what they can work with now, as they have PT-50s and Tech 9s across the board. All armor as well, and a little bits of utility here and there. A couple smokes, flashbangs, and they're going to try to start to push forward here. Peter will be the first point of contact. As we're looking at his perspective, you can already hear from his point of view that he was able to hear some of the footsteps from back at A long, so he definitely knows they're coming. He just doesn't know how many will be pushing in that direction. And he's got a primary focus down over here towards the ramp. So does Slemmy, but the thing is, Slemmy's got to be very careful. If he doesn't catch the push out from A-Long, of course, he can be knocked out just with a quick swing around the corner. That tree's not a perfect cover position.
And compLexity has, like, no nades left, so...
Yeah, and they are going to start to... They're going to start to get a little bit more aggressive about this rotate, though, as everyone wraps downstairs. But Slemmy rips the entire hit to pieces, and Peter basically just finishes it off. The only kill that they get is Nifty against Slemmy, but that was kind of expected with that aggressive position that Slemmy was playing from. Besides that, though, flawless hold from Cole.
Yeah, clean round by compLexity, and we should expect them to go up 3-0. Yeah, Renegades shouldn't be buying anything, so...
This one will be the full save from the Renegades, so this is really the walkover round here for Cole. As it's literally just Glocks, no one bought anything at all. So very, very straightforward for these Ts. And we're going to have to see if they can make any bit of impact with just these guns. Very unlikely. Peter swinging out. A lot of... Yeah, actually expunged pretty early here, but still able to get nice 3 kills, and his teammate Slemmy down below inside of the actual connector picks up the other 2. Fast rounds here, and a good start for both Slemmy, Peter, Daph, and the others. compLexity up at 3-0, but now their first real test is going to roll in.
Yeah, I was wondering if they would keep the umps and MP9s, but looks like Peter upgrades to the up, everyone else keeps their umps.
Which makes sense. Going by that, they want to have the extra firepower of the ops, since besides that, they would have only had the 1 rifle on Ye. And obviously Slemmy on the FAMAS as well. But everybody else would have been working with UMPs, which may have not been optimal, so he does decide to go for that upgrade. Still even has a decent amount of money left over with how much money he's stacked up just in those first couple of rounds. I think all 5 of his kills are with the UMP so far. So he's probably gotten quite a bit of excess cash, so he can definitely afford to go for that kind of an upgrade here. And once he's going to keep their aggression going, even in the gun run, you can see all that utility being used, both the smoke and the molly being deployed back down to the edge of the platform push. And that's kept the Renegades back. They very much wanted to put pressure here. They've got guys on top of Drop, too. He still is looking for an opportunity to push into there. Here's the thing, though, is Trop is going to be an area that they might not be able to push into so well, considering that they're still going up against quite a few umps and whatnot from that CT side, and that's exactly what Def and Android have, as both of them are sitting in there to defend against a heavy drop play. So right now, they've got Renegades read like a book at the moment. It's a good smoke to counter out the transition room. But Def is going to be very careful not to push inside of it. Azur gets downstairs. They obviously get that amount of drop control for free after using the smoke. Def kind of goes off with the spray. Not going to get much done with that. However, they also have not really gotten much in terms of the actual site either. They're getting low on time here. 40 seconds remaining to get the bomb onto the ground. And it looks like they're going to try to double peek against Def. Def moves in. For some reason, doesn't expect Azur to have pushed out. And it's not just that kill. JKS also finds one against Slemmy, too. Android could still flank, and they still have Ye on the site, but Ye's alone. He's going to be outboxed pretty quickly here if he's not careful. You can hear footsteps. You can hear them pushing up the sidewalk. Doesn't even get nifty, though. Dinks him, brings him down to 11 HP, but doesn't get the kill. So with the elimination of those players, and now Android being the last man standing, his best hope here is to find a couple frags and evacuate, trying to save this gun for the next round, as more than likely the Renegades are now going to be going up 3-1. And Android still hunting too. Peter does catch you still, so that should be a pretty safe path for Android to retreat out of here. 3v2, and they've got Nifty and JKS low. If they wanted to attempt it, they could, but the thing is, I don't believe they're really aware of how low those two players are. That and just the general lack of intel. That's going to make this a little bit of a difficult retake. So
yeah, they'll rewatch it and see that they're low and probably regret not going for it.
Especially considering how far out JKS went, too. He's like way across the map right now. So it would have only been like an even 2v2 retake. But obviously, they don't know these things, so you can't really fault them.
Yeah.
Just a bad read.
Complexity still has lots of money, so they'll be going into a full buy round again. Comfortably.
And so now they're going to be looking for that quick trade, too. It's part of what the saves helped them out with. Not only do they still have had, I should say, the money left over regardless from their anti-ecos, but with the 2 saves, it saves them even more. Players like Android and to some degree Peter still have enough to buy again in the next round if they really want to try and force the envelope a bit to keep their lead under their control. But JZ Walking's trying to push out early on here, unfortunately getting pushed back by the Molly and some other nades. Azur suffering from a similar fate, but I believe at a different position on the map. Now he's also playing over there towards B. I think he might have tried to push in a drop though and got naded out over the counter boost. No, still, they're moving in. And Android pushed out of the actual site itself, forced back a bit, or out of drop itself, I should say, and forced back a bit. Yay! Trying to take a battle from the windowsill, but that doesn't go too well. He's brought down to 32 HP. He did return some of the damage on Yustillo, knocking out about half of his. But all this is doing is drawing a massive amount of attention towards drop right now, when this isn't necessarily a solidified hit just yet. Renegades are still playing into just a default currently. They even have JKS pushed up into suicide steps way over on the other side of the map. Potentially could take on someone like Slemmy or whatnot if he wants to try and lurk back out towards A. But this one player or 2 players that were previously here is enough to keep a 3-man presence from the CT side. Complexity got some type of intel that suggested it was going to be an A hit, and now they've wrapped quite a few players over here. Maybe after all this drop pressure, thinking it was going to be some kind of a drop split, which is not incorrect to think that. In fact, that still might be the case, since there's not a whole lot of action going on towards the platform approach just yet. Android! Oh my goodness, Android! Perfect timing on it, as well as the player up on top of drop was still tossing out an 8, and now Peter knocks out another one back from Chicken Coop with the up. All that's left alive is JZ Walkings in a 1v5 situation. Basically impossible, and he only has 20 seconds to plant the bomb to boot. He's going to try to push up to the statue, spots Ye, gets that kill, but Slemmy on the repeat prevents any more damage from being done.
Yeah, while Android was shutting down the drop play, Slemmy was over at A, stopping an A lurk as well, so that was good kills by the whole team. Peter got an early pick on Plat, and it was pretty much clean around.
So off of that, Renegades again will find themselves reset down to just upgraded pistols. For some, they aren't even able to afford that. JKS and Nifty have to sit with just Glocks, and Yustillo, Azur, and JZ Walkings are going to get a very minimalist buy. So stick it together, probably expect something, I should say. Pretty straightforward here from the Renegades. The hope for them to actually win out here is not looking too good. Complexity should be in good shape to go up to something like 5-1 here. Nifty, well, they get themselves into drop. They did spot that player at windowsill, but he evacuates the situation. Doesn't want to take any chance on being overwhelmed. Again, maximizing the money buildup is the key here for Complexity. So Renegades, they go into drop, but they realize their mistake and counter boost JKS back over the top, as he's going to want to get out of there. That's not the best spot for them to try and stage a take from, especially now that they're down to a 3v5. And Nifty is likely going to find himself knocked down in a moment here, too. Android walks in for free, finds him out, knocks him out. And now the remaining two. Looks like they're going to try to go for a platform push. Def will spot this coming. Gets one of them. Interestingly, it's not the one that he did like 70 damage to, but he gets the other one. And now JKS left alive. Def will get the assist on that one too. And compLexity 5-1. Back in control of this situation, but after that very light buy, we're immediately going to see Renegades buy back into this round too.
Yeah, some of them are going to have to opt and go with Tech 9 if they want nades. Nifty's sitting on 3600, JKS on 34. JKS only gets P2. Oh no, he got a Gleel. Never mind.
He just bought it late. So, fast push from Azure again, just trying to make some noise over towards B. Smokes in from the CT, so it actually might work to keep players in that position. So it's up to Slimmy to spot this big 4-man play towards long A. Which looks like it's going to be the case. Smoke will obscure his vision. He's got a molly ready. He's already calling for help. So I think Peter... No, Peter's going back into B. Again, this is dangerous. They were able to compensate for this last time. But at the moment, if Renegades were to execute it this very second, they would completely overwhelm the site easily, unless Slimmy had some massive individual play. Pop off the molly again, trying to delay things for as long as possible. And finally, we do see Ye this time cheating over to this side of the site. Def is going to join him too. They kept Peter as the lone player in B, and Android just watching for drop presence in case they try to split it. They're ready for this. They got a 3-man hit here, but Def is in a bad spot, so he's got to be careful. Lost Slemmy too. Def's going to try to swing out, but no. 2 are dead already. Only 1 remains in the actual site, and that's going to be Ye. Who at this point has not been able to get any kills, and now with nades is down at 5 HP. Android's helping out a bit, but it's not for too long. You still owe Nifty both picking up kills. And for Peter, there is absolutely nothing he can do. He's forced back. He's going to have to save. And the Renegades will get their second, finally.
compLexity made a good read. They shifted Def and Ye over to the site along with Slemmy, and they just didn't get their kills that round. Sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Well, after that, thankfully compLexity kept the money together enough to get one more buy. Nifty unfortunately getting attacked a bit there by his teammate. Not too much though, only 8 HP. But compLexity have this double op setup still going strong. Ye and Peter again are the ones to wield it. Along with decent utility, you know, full enforce for everybody else. This is the last time we're going to see that though, as this does pretty much run them on dry. 800 or less for pretty much everybody else, for everybody on the team here on compLexity's side. So they are going to be very, very weak going into the next round if Renegades has a repeat victory here. It's all coming down to just this bad positioning inside of the smokes and whatnot. The last round, unfortunately, they read into it. They didn't rotate properly, although it was a little bit slow. They got there in time, though. They had the player base to hold that off. Just smokes and other bits of utility really put them out of the game. They tried to play aggressively. They tried to push past those smokes and paid the price for it, as Renegades got quite a few kills as a result of that one. Specifically, players like Android and I think Slemmy or Def, if I remember properly, were going down to that in the last round. But a little bit of a fight here between Slemmy and JKS on either side of the smoke back at mid-connector. Definitely realizes the presence is there, but how large of a presence he does not know yet. So just to be safe, they'll molly off long again, and they're going to boost Slemmy up on top of the wall. That he can try to spray out if they attempt to go for another direct hit. And it's a good thing they did that too, as the molly comes out. The flash, he looked away at the wrong time. They don't see him. Oh, they do actually, just in time before he can do really big damage there. Yustillo takes him down, and now Android moving up. He is watching for that quick pinch that would come in from drop over there. So he's got his eyes pierced on that. Yustillo moving in, catches Def in the corner. He doesn't get anything done. Ye still stuck here. He's going to take the position of Def, but doesn't realize just below to his left. Oh, recovers, however. Takes out Yustillo, but in comes that flank from Azure. He started in drop, but actually wrapped that into the B side. A pretty smart play, to be completely honest. And now with the loss of Peter, it's just Ye in a 1v4, and he's not going to last too long either.
Clean round by Renegades. The explosive play at the middle. Azure with a lurk on drop.
And that was exactly what they needed here. 5-3 now. Breaking compLexity should bring it up to 5-4. Not expecting really a compLexity upset here with this type of buy. Curious. Their money should actually be good going into that. I think it'll be good going into the next round after this buy. So they'll be alright just with this one save. But it's after that where things will get a bit tricky, and that's where Renegades would be able to take control. But 5-round start on the CT side, certainly not bad at all. And as long as they can continue to build on this as we go into the later portions of the half, they'll be in alright shape.
Jay Watkins hasn't got a lot of action either, sitting at 1-6.
Yeah, same as before, and I was hoping again that we would see this come out a little bit better here on this map since they're starting on T side. However, apparently that's not the case. going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, and maybe he's going to be able to impact on these next couple of rounds, but definitely a pretty shaky performance so far on these two maps, starting off pretty poorly on both of them so far, on both CT and T side. He had to recover well on the T side of Train.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But it didn't mean much as they lost that round. And now the inconsistency shows here too on this one, so we'll have to see. Like I said, it's only the first couple days on the team, so it is going to take some time to adjust for that. But he's still moving in. Finally gets some action going here. He picks up the first kill, and compLexity's gamble stack towards the A site does not pay off, so their best hope now on this full save is going to be to try and stack up for exits. Get a couple kills there, but Renegades reads into that one too. Pretty smart play from them. JKS and Nifty just cleaning up shop. Def now the last man standing. With only a USP, there's not much he can do. He's going to throw himself at Ustillo here in a second. If he gets that kill, it's great. He'll pick up the AK and run. But if not, it'll be a quick end of this round, and the Renegades will put themselves within 1 round's grasp of tying this up.
Yeah, so with the 3 loss bonus, compLexity will be able to buy. They probably called the pause here just to discuss what they want to do.
Yeah, overall...
They haven't bought yet either, so maybe they're thinking like pistol armor. I don't know.
But they have enough.
Yeah, they have enough, like limited nades.
Yeah, that's it's cobblestone actually, so that makes more sense. It's the nades, especially like mollies and stuff, can be really useful on this map.
Yeah, knowing Pete, he usually calls like we should just half buy here and then maybe win that round possibly because it is cobble, so 5-7 close range, and then plus the other team might not expect you to be on up save, right? They might expect you to have guns. So
I mean, as long
catches
as
people off guard.
As long as they can, like I said, as long as they can build up to even like 6 or 7 rounds on the CT side, I'd say they're in alright shape with the way that the map generally plays out. They just need to make sure that they do secure those rounds, and not buying here would be a pretty difficult decision. They would give them this huge buy going into the next round, but that's gambling a lot on 1 round potentially, and that's also letting Renegades' economy build up.
Build up more, yeah. Because
you can already see JKS. This is all post buy for Renegades too. JKS is at 8,500. Like there's 2 other players above 7K. And then the other 2 are at 5K. So everybody's got at least 1. Some have 2 full buys still that they can go for here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for the full buy here.
Yeah, so compLexity does decide to dive in on the buy, and we'll see just how limited it makes them. And you can see that. Everybody except for Peter, obviously, because he buys the op, gets smokes. Peter does not even get armor, though, because he has to go for the purchase of the op there. So he's not going to get anything except for a flashbang behind the op. Rest of the players, like I said, get basically just smokes. Some get an extra flashbang, and Ye gets the molly in there, but that's only 1 molly they have. So that's where they're going to be falling behind here, and that's where Renegades is going to have a lot more freedom of movement across the map in general. Like we're seeing from Peter, though, he's getting aggressive. He even has a CT smoke to support him there as he moves up, but he's not going to stick around for too long, so he's not really going to get a whole lot of great intel. What we do see, though, is the double stack of players over here at A-Long. That's also probably going to dissipate pretty quickly, as it's mainly just to get Def boosted up inside of the... I don't even know what we call that nowadays, but... he'll be hiding out over inside of that little crow's nest there, and seeing if he can impact it all against Renegades. However, it seems like that they're going to be pushing out pretty much completely while avoiding A long, so that position is not going to be of too much benefit just yet. But now he can flank with it, though. That's the kicker here. Hopefully, going back over towards this corner doesn't alert them too heavily, as JZ Walkings will pick off Slemmy. But Slemmy also took Azur down along the way. More kills happening from within the site. Here comes his flank from Def, though. He gets 1 with it, evening the fight back down into a 2v2, and he's not going to go any further just yet. Routes back into the connector, while Renegades is going to retrieve the bomb and looking for a plant. Peter, in the meanwhile, is stuck inside the wall hall, and is going to try to lurk out and see if he can find anyone right outside of the rat's nest. JZ Walking stuck in the alleyway. Def was able to spot the player on the site, and Peter, a quick shot as well against JZ Walkings. Ustillo now has to clutch with only 13 HP. Pop flash way up into the sky. Won't really connect too well, unfortunately, except on a Peter there, and Peter saw Ustillo. They know where he's at. They know he's hiding in this default corner. They are getting a bit low in time. Neither one of these CTs actually has a kit to play with currently, but finally they just run right into him there, take him down. And they should have plenty of time left to defuse that bomb. So Cole going to be going back into control for the time being, 6-4. Not the greatest round, unfortunately, because they did lose 3 out of 5 players, so it's still going to cost them some money to buy back in. But with the 2 saved ops, they should hopefully be able to make up for that.
Yeah, Def won him that round by boosting that guy in Crow's Nest and then Slimy dying. Although he died, didn't really get a kill. They didn't expect Def to be in the halls, and he came back after and helped on the retake.
So 6-4 here And the Renegades, like we said before, they had a pretty good bank. They had 1 to 2, depending on what player it was. Full buys still built up in their economy. So this is the first one right here. And there's still quite a few players, specifically JKS and Azur, that can still go for a full buy the next round. These other guys can probably force up pretty decently too, specifically Ustilo and JZ Walkings are going to be over 4K if they drop this round, and they don't save too. So Renegades is still in good shape, and they still have a little bit more time to fight. 1-to-1 trades. Ustilo just goes jetting out onto the platform. He finds Def on the steps, but Peter trades him. Problem is, Peter is now stuck here, but he moved, actually. I like this. He's staying mobile, gets himself out towards the statue. He's not going to pinhole himself inside a chicken coop, and he wouldn't really have been allowed to because of the molly. It's a good thing they had smoke to support, but now, look, they're falling back. Slemmy, he's going to want to turn around himself, though, as he didn't realize that they were falling back. He certainly knows for sure now, as JKS takes him down. Slemmy could have just ended the round right there, or done massive damage, but unfortunately gave up his position a little bit too early, so he was forced out of there. And now compLexity have to scramble to rotate in time. They've only got Ye here, and Ye, he's not even paying attention to Long, so he goes down to JKS. It's a full push from Renegades. They have full control over the site, and there's probably not even going to be a retake attempt now.
Yeah, good reactionary play by Renegades. They got that pick, and they all just went together.
So it's Android and Peter just going to be falling back to the steps where they'll look to save. And Renegades, they have the money to try and push them a little bit. They have to know for sure that there isn't really a whole lot of action going on. But at the moment, they're just trying to restrict them, prevent them from pushing out too heavily towards either side in case they tried to flank or something like that. Very unlikely they would be able to do it, but still, just playing it safe on the Renegades since they were brought to the brink. But with the win of this round, it's going to be a perfect situation for them, as it's a 1-round win for compLexity and then immediately reset by the Renegades. So they're perfectly fine with this current situation here. Letting them get that 1 round and then having him be reset. They go right back down to square one in terms of building up their losing bonus, and they do not have a lot of excess cash to build upon it.
Yeah, we'll see if they decide to fly behind those 2 guns or not. Looks like they are.
I mean, I think they kind of had to in that situation, considering where the money was and the fact that they, at the very least, had the 2 saved guns.
Yeah.
So just buy down here, and then if you lose it, whatever, just save again, then buy it in the next round after that one.
I don't mind at least on drop on this map.
Well, Ye is going to be positioned again in that crow's nest spot, trying to see if he can spot anyone from the Renegades pushing out from A long, and he's definitely going to get a few players this time. They didn't see him here last time, remember? Oh, and Def even surprises too. Look at this! Beautifully played. It's a 3-for-1 trade. Slemmy also coming into the picture there too, and the force works. It keeps compLexity in the lead as they get a 7th round, once again bringing it back up to a 2-round advantage against the Renegades. They haven't broken them yet, but with a clean round like that, they're right back into the game economically now.
Yeah, that was a perfect counter for what Renegades was trying to do, and Def got that pick and then got traded, but he set Ye up to get the next 2, so.
So it is Renegades that will just go for a direct play this time. They're tired of screwing around with fancy strats. They're going to go right into the site. Quick smokes hit up to block off the sidewalk. They don't actually block off much of the rest of the site, though. In fact, Azur's given a whole lot of room to maneuver. Ye trades onto 1. Nifty looking for more here, but the trades continue to go, this time in the favor of the Renegades, as they take down 4 players, leaving Peter to clutch a 1v3. Stuck over here in the transition room behind a smoke, but that's going to be fading soon. And he does have Nifty and JKS low. However, they should already know where he's playing from here. In fact, they are going to peek him, and it's Nifty that finds that final kill, trading the rounds again, this time in the Renegades' favor. But like I said, compLexity did get a whole lot of excess cash off of that last round they won because of the fact that, again, they were just starting to build themselves up there. So it would have, I mean, in theory, they could have attempted to go for something here, but I think the problem is both Ye and Def were just a little bit too low. There's only 2 rounds remaining anyway. So I think they're just going to call this one off as a save, let Renegades tie it up, and then try to go for the 8-7 at the very least.
Yeah, that was a good change of pace by Renegades. I like that.
And it came in just when it was needed to, as it's letting the Renegades keep this game as close as they want it to be. 1 round distance between the 2 teams. Just similar to our last map, as we were neck and neck back on train for quite a while too, up until the very end there. Azur now just going to get a massive spray down against the compLexity roster. 3 players walking right into his AK. There's 1 more here, but this time he's going to be able to trade it on the JZ Walkings. Unfortunate for JZ Walkings that he's the one to get traded. But still, someone had to be that person. Peter actually dinking another one too, but he does go down before he completes the kill. And it's Azur that gets a nice 4K here on this eco round from Cole. And now a little buyout on the 15th round.
The money's still not that great, but like I said, people can get umps, play close range, and it's just as good. And they're gonna go right ahead and do that, and have full utility on some of the players.
Peter also playing inside of those suicide steps again with the op here. The Renegades are starting to swing back out in this direction. They'll take on Peter. No Crow's Nest support this time, and Peter misses that first shot against Ustillo, so he goes down. That's the first kill in their favor, and that's one of their 2 ops gone down as well, so Nifty, if he wanted to, could have picked that back up here. And I think, no, he's got another one. So they do have another op on the ground if they want to try to work with 2 ops on that T side. Don't think they're going to. Slemmy catching one trade as he also tried to push back out again, but it was short-lived. Ustillo also got that second kill, trading it again. At the very least, though, the pressure against them in A long was enough to force Renegades back, and it looks like they're changing the game plan heading towards B, which I think is exactly what Cole wants at this point in the game. They still have the 2-man stack over here. These guys haven't really been tested much yet, so in terms of the utility buy, while it isn't great, they still have a little bit to work with over here in the event Renegades tries to go for a direct push. Outside, what's even better, Android pushing out through mid-connector just found Nifty, so I think that might even reassure their push into this B-bomb site, but they're getting hesitant about it on the Renegades side. They're a little bit slow about the way that they're pushing in here, so it's going to give Def plenty of warning to strike from inside of this cover. They don't even check it. He doesn't actually get a kill, but he does massive damage to 2 different players. So that's going to pry them up to now hurt as they push back in. Yay again with a second pickup. It's a 1v1. Android is stuck behind his smoke, but JKS is focused on planning right now. So Android should be good to push through. Doesn't do it, though, and now he's got to be careful. Thankfully, pushes through in the right position. JKS knows he's sitting over here right behind the rock spot. Molly burns, and it's going to send JKS out to the open. The flash is great against Android, too. Gives JKS a huge amount of freedom of movement here. Getting a little bit low on time, but Android does have the kit, so he's able to buy himself a little bit more. JKS playing with him beautifully, but ultimately, Android locks onto the headshot there. Picks up the last round for compLexity, as they're going to go 8-7 in the lead at the end of the first half.
Android made a good aggro play at mid, caught Nifty rotating to B, and then that was like him knowing that they're gonna go B at the end, giving info to his team.
Yeah, and with that confirmation, they were able to really secure things on that site. Not paying attention, Renegades unfortunately not paying attention to players that were sitting inside of that cubby at the edge of the platform too really hurt them. As I don't remember the exact player that was sitting in there, but whoever it was able to pretty much knock out about 70 to 80 HP on two of those players.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, it was Def was in that corner.
It was Def,
yeah.
okay. So primed it up pretty well for players like Ye and whatnot to finish them off, and then obviously the clutch at the end in the 1v1. So compLexity get an advantage on CT side. They're definitely going to be happy with the way that half played out. Now the problem is, though, is that compLexity does have to jump on the T side, which historically hasn't been the most diverse in terms of the strategies they bring to the table. So they have to hope that just off of the pure gunpowder alone, they're going to be able to push through up to 16 to take this in 2-0 fashion. As otherwise, this is where Renegades might be able to counter them out and start to take a little bit more dominant control, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like 7 rounds, or did they get 8? Yeah, 8 rounds on CT. That should be enough to at least make it close. But this is Renegade's map, so they should be favored on the cobble.
So the team's just taking a second again to strategize here and figure out how exactly they want to play this second half. And then when they're ready, they can jump back into it. Remember, the winner moves on to play against C9 tomorrow in the bracket for the semifinals. There's only one slot open for an NA team and a European team as well for the actual main event itself. So you have to go all the way through the bracket here. And for the winner of this one, that would include taking down the new C9 roster. Also have the other game still to come up after this as well, guys, and that's going to be NRG taking on Rise. Will be our next match, and then we have Tempo Storm going against CLG, I think.
Do you know which one's first or no?
I think we're just going down the brackets. I think the Energy is first, and then the Tempo Storm one's the last one. I could be wrong though. Let me check HLTV because it should be on there.
Sounds good. I wonder where they're gonna put JZ walking on CT side.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, considering they put him into an important position in the last map back over towards Ivy, it would make sense for them to do it again here. However, like we were mentioning, he hasn't really been doing that great. So they still have to.
That new team jitters.
Yeah. They still have to be a little bit careful with putting him in an area like drop or something like that, where if he just consistently messes up, it could prove to be, well, it could prove to be a little bit painful for them if they're not careful. Let's just say that. So I don't know which game is first, unfortunately. If HLTV is rare, now actually both those matches start at the same time, so we may only be covering one of them, and then the other one might just be like open IP. But obviously we'll get more info on that as we get closer to those other two games. So it looks like they're both at the same time currently.
And Energy should be playing with their Cirque, I think. That opera.
Is he on now? Did they announce that?
I don't think it's announced, but that's what it was saying on the HLTV.
That was the rumor.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we're live into the second half, guys, so let's get to it. Like we said before, compLexity able to piece together those 8 rounds on CT's side, considering it enough for themselves, even saving on the second to last round to not try and force the issue. Just wanted to control it and make sure they had the lead, and now they're going to try and extend that by taking control over this pistol round. So let's take a look and see if their T side's going to be enough, or if the CTs will start as strong again, and Renegades will steal the pistol this time. compLexity did win the first pistol, so they have that advantage too. They had the first 3 rounds overall. Renegades definitely showing up strong on that T side, but they've got to show up on the defense here now too and counter out compLexity's T side. JKS first up to bat, but it backs up pretty quickly from the fight over there, and so does compLexity though. They see the presence, they see potentially they might have spotted Nifty too. I'm not exactly sure if they saw him or not, but if they did, that might have been enough to kind of scare them away, or at least make them think like they were going to rotate quickly back over towards B. And that's not the case just yet anyway. It did seem like they were kind of splitting up, and now it looks like they want to slow play this a little bit more.
I think they're just going to push him back plat, and then they're going to split drop to A. That's what they're going to try to do.
Eustilos here behind the box. He sees it coming, so he falls away too. So they got that push. They push another player from the B side further back, and now they're stacked 3 guys. Good call. They're going 3 towards drop. 2 working out towards A long, and Nifty and JKS are going to be the only players on the site originally to defend it. Azar actually gets cut off, so he's got to fight. Oh! Through the door, though, finds Ye. Nicely tracked, finding that one. And now already 1 being punished. They know that there's more coming in on their flank. Nifty's able to hold for 1. He does lose his teammate, JKS, but he's able to fall back inside of the shed at the very least, so he has a position to sit back and defend from. And there you go. There's the first kill for him, pushing out. Sees another one just below Heaven. Gets that kill, too. Nifty going off right now. 4 kills, all 4 within the site for him. And he wins out the round basically on his own for the Renegades.
Yeah, that was well played by Nifty. He got behind APC with his teammate at A, got the early pick, and fell away. Stayed alive, made it a 4v3, and then just hit the rest of the shots. That was well played by him.
And so, with that, we'll be tied at 8-8 right at the start. Definitely not the result that compLexity was hoping for here. But they did get the plant, so expect a light buy from compLexity. Oh, okay, maybe not. They went right for it here in the second round. They're going to try to go right for the upset here since they can get a relatively equal buy to what Renegades is going to be purchasing here. So they at least get that going. A little bit less, obviously, but they still have like full utility and everything because they haven't gone full on for rifles. Just the 2 umps on Ye and Peter, and immediately they find JKS roaming way out in the open, even past the exit to A long there, and they're able to catch him. So Renegades have been unfortunate. They lose JKS right at the start. Ye does lose half of his own HP. But compLexity get that man advantage. Now, how are they going to capitalize upon it is the next question here.
I like this by compLexity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times before, not necessarily from compLexity, but other teams have started to experiment with it especially when the ump was like
really overpowered.
Yeah, when the ump phase happened there, when everybody was buying it, I think we saw this buy a little bit more often. So it's not completely uncommon to see this happening. It's just a little bit more common now that the ump got nerfed and it's not as common anymore. But Cole moving in, Ye trying to jump back over and get a second kill for himself. It's actually Azar, Jay-Z, Walkings, and Eustilos just clean up shop, making mincemeat of compLexity for the most part here. It's just Peter left alive now in a 1v3. And Nifty's going to put him down, so Renegades do indeed secure that second round. They don't get upset by the force buy, and without another plant, unfortunately compLexity are not going to be able to repeat that. They will have to light buy here.
Yeah, they're probably going to save and then buy the next. So that should make 10-8 for Renegades.
And indeed, it is just going to be Glocks, Deagles, P250s for compLexity. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward attempt at a play, too, over here towards that B-bomb site. Jay-Z Walkings. Oh. Almost gets himself cut off by a Deagle. is able to fall back in time. There's a flank against them too. JKS, this might not be the best situation for JKS to take this duel. Out in the open with an FP9. It does some damage, but unfortunately it doesn't play out the way he would have hoped.
Wow.
And what's even worse is not only did they lose, excuse me, not only did they lose the player that was out by the stack there, but they lost another one too. So they're actually down one player at this point in time, and they've given over a rifle to Peter. And no one has armor sitting behind that. Depth's also obviously going to get the MP9.
But look where Stilo is. He's all the way T-spawn. So if they do come back to B... But wait, they are going T-spawn.
They're going... Maybe they expect...
Oh, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting.
Stilo should hear this. Oh, no. They are shift walking, I think. Yeah, he's not going to hear it.
His gun might stick out.
Unless they drop. Let's see if they see him coming. They're going to wrap back in, and they look for him, so Slemmy catches it, and that aggressive push from Ustillo now means absolutely nothing. They have nobody in the B center right now, so JZ Walkings and Azure are racing to B to try and get some sort of a defense set up. That's actually a pretty good flashbang, but it's just off the mark, so unfortunately it barely hits even two of those players. The other two completely unaffected by it. JZ Walkings is now overwhelmed. He does the support coming back in from Azure, and it's just in time, too. JZ with two, finally traded out up to Azure, but in the final 1v1, Slemmy closes it out with a big 4K. And it's Cole that bounces back now 9-9.
That's so crazy. I didn't get to see how it played out, if they knew that he was going to be there or they were just being aware of everything and checking every corner, but that was well played by compLexity, and Slemmy had a big round.
So nicely done from them. The real key moment there was what we were getting hyped about, was that read to wrap around kill you still. That's what pretty much sealed the deal right there. As if he wasn't killed, he probably would have been able to multi-frag there, and then, you know, they would have rotated over, and JZ Walkings could have been set up in the time it took them to get to the site after they killed that player. So nicely done from compLexity, wrapping all the way around to read into that one. And obviously making sure that they checked every single angle before they pushed into the site. So Renegades will be pushed to the edge of their own economy. You can already see that. An ump buy coming out from Ustillo, JKS all down to just a pistol and a CZ. The others are still able to get M4s, but no op presence this time for that CT side.
See a drop boost here. Oh.
Well, they tried to. I think a molly got... Or not a molly, maybe, but another nade got tossed down, so it did push them back. And now the flashbangs as well is going to send most of Renegades outside of the drop room here. Azure and Ustillo are going to be the ones that are on point for that one, but Ustillo immediately goes down. Basically zero response in terms of damage. The nades are perfect against Azure too, so there's nothing you can do about that. Just lose another like 30 to 40 HP as a result of it. And now Azure trying to lurk back through the tree position too. Android stuck inside the transition room. Perfect flashbang from compLexity. Takes down Azure. JZ Walkings falls down right after that one. JKS and Nifty, the last two remaining, and look at where they are. Halfway across the... Not even halfway, all the way across the map. So it's another walk-on round for compLexity after they get those entries, and they barely take any damage at all. Def loses about a quarter of his HP, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it was nearly a flawless round. I want to point out, like, Android kind of caught Ustillo off guard, but the reason he caught him off guard was because Ye was spamming his AK to mask the sound, and with that entry, it just opened up the round for compLexity.
Yeah, and then after that too, the flashbang that was tossed back over just completely destroyed the defense setup within the actual site. So now on exit, they're even looking out for these players that may have gotten aggressive to hunt them down, since, like I said before, Renegades kind of were brought to the bitter end of their economy here. Even with these two saves, they're not really going to be able to buy. It's unfortunate that one of the two saves is the player with a pistol, so it means very little that he saves that. But now pushing back out, there's the drop. JKS needs the gun. They take down another one due to a team kill. So at the end of the day, only 3 survive for compLexity. But at this also on the Renegade side, they keep Nifty alive, but they do lose JKS, so he's not able to keep that CZ. That's not a big deal, though. I imagine he's not too upset about losing that, considering that it was only the pistol, not an actual full M4 or anything like that.
Yeah, these rounds are just back and forth.
Right now, the momentum swing is going in compLexity's favor, and the Renegades basically have to work with a full save here. I like the setup they've got, though. Aggressive over there towards the hay barrels room over here at Long A. They're able to catch at least one player off guard with that. Ye gets a quick trade, but he's got to be careful himself here, as he could potentially find himself pinched. And now the counter burst up on top, and it's Nifty to do it, too, with the double kill. Taking down Android and Peter. Beautifully positioned, perfectly timed, and with that, Renegades may have just stolen this round away off of what was basically a full eco with one player saving. Nifty's now got an op to play off of 2, so these last 2 have to try and push against him. They do manage to get that kill as they catch him off guard a little bit. Def peeks from the other side, so he wasn't checking for it. It's a 2v3, still recoverable for compLexity. They gotta move soon, though, as the rotates are on the way. And now, just on Def. Gets one, though, but immediately down a moment later to Azure, as Renegades tie it up again. And we continue to go back and forth with neither team having that massive advantage.
Yeah, that flank was huge by Nifty. Definitely won him around there. Yeah, 10 to 10, close as I can get.
And the buy downs coming in again. Both, I mean, this is pretty much reset for either team here. Renegades may be able to half buy since Nifty and Azure still have like 2 and 3K between them. However, for pretty much everybody else in the server right now, they are out of cash. So this is probably going to be reset potential for either team, and this is huge because, like we've been saying, no one's really had more than like a 2-round lead this entire half so far. So it really has been neck and neck, and this may finally be the round that allows a team to potentially push that up to like a 3+ round advantage, which is going to be huge considering the way that this game has been played out up to this point. compLexity still trying to inch their way over here towards B, and Ustilo knows it's coming. He hears the molly actually being tossed back out here, so he's going to pop in. He's able to get one. Unfortunately, with Ye's earlier kill against JZ Walkings is not an even trade. It is in the favor of compLexity, and now Azure sits alone as the only player here on this site was trying to fend off against drop players. There's no one working in. All 4 of the remaining Cole players are going out towards platform, and they're just smoking out the site. They do need one more smoke to complete the puzzle there. It looks like they are going to leave the fountain route open. So for now, looks like they're trying to boost Azure up on top of the tree. Oh, it works too. Gets the one. Unfortunately, can only get that one. Now Nifty's alone, trying to look for at least one more kill on the op. Can't get it though. And like I said before, back and forth and back again.
Yeah.
Now into the hands of compLexity, and I think Renegades will have to save here. Like I said, Nifty.
I'm surprised JZ re-peeked there. Like he re-peeked the statue. Like he shouldered, baited the op shot, and then he kept re-peeking. That was kind of questionable by him, but I guess he was trying to set up his teammate that was close square. But like you said, yeah, they're on a full save here. Back and forth.
And so with that one save coming in, and they do pretty much make it a full save, they even donate the pistols to teammates. Azure just tosses out a bunch of P250s. So everybody's going to be able to play with that. And now they have to hope they can get a decent amount of impact to keep the money low on compLexity. That's the main goal here. Not necessarily winning the round, but at least knocking out 3, maybe 4 players if they can. Make it expensive. Still has got one. Unfortunately, that's the only one he can get. Nifty and Azure are set up close. Azure's actually probably got the best chance out of the two of them. If Nifty can distract the Renegades, and there we go. Azure with one pickup tries to go for more, but both of the remaining CT side players pretty much fall at the exact same time. And compLexity secures that 12th round. Money for the Renegades. Ooh, we'll have to see, because 59 and 54, that's easily enough to buy, but the others still a little bit low. They decide to force it though, so they're going to go for it, but that will be 2 umps, end of a Moss, so quite a few downgrades and limited utility as well for some of these other guys.
Yeah, they're gonna have to play close with these umps to even make them impactful, so we'll see what they decide to do. Maybe boost drop or something.
Not a lot of mollies either here. They only have 1 sitting on Az. They don't have a lot to really get players out of... they don't really have a lot to try and block off players on it, so that's where it's going to get rough for the Renegades here if they're not careful. Meanwhile, however, over here on the compLexity side, they're going to be no strangers to utility. They've got like 3 mollies, one of them 4 technically, because one of them was already used, and plenty more to play off here, along with obviously the full setup that they've been carrying for these last couple of rounds. But Renegades focusing again on this B-bomb site, as you would normally expect to see. However, they're going to have to quickly read into the fact that this is not the case. JKS is currently the only guy playing towards A, and he's not even pushed out towards A long or checking towards mid or anything like that. He is just stuck outside of A long at the alleyway, waiting for players to push up so that he can try to pop flash and a multi-frag. But that's going to be a late warning, and the problem is if he goes down without that multi-frag, 2 or 3 kills at least, then that might just...
JZR's boosted that drop, so they might boost him in a quick flag. Nifty's up and down the plat.
So they should see this soon, but again, no detection yet. They're even all the way at platform now, and there's still no sign of a rotate. Only just now did we start to see players starting to move over, and JKS stuck in the corner. He couldn't even see towards A-line. That was all this one focus for the entire round, and he got smoked off from it. CT's trying to rotate back in. They do have a little bit of presence behind the APC still, because they jumped out of heaven real quickly, but Def sneaking back in, knocks out one of them. They know where JZ Walking's at. Goodbye to him. Nifty still way over here on the B-bomb site. He's going to be saving. It's 13-10 for compLexity.
Yeah, JKS was just stranded on his own. You kept pointing it out, and just no one rotated. I was kind of shocked. They had a lot of info. Nifty was opping down B, and Azure was boosted on drop.
Yeah,
so.
they had all that info, but they didn't rotate until like they were about 3/4 of the way up a ramp is when we finally started seeing players moving, so it was way too late. They still got a few of them out, because compLexity was kind of slow to take site control. But even with those 2 players, they were just kind of in the open behind APCs. It was pretty easy to knock them out, just with clever use of the smokes that we saw there towards the end.
Yeah, JKS was left in a awkward position.
Yeah, and you could see that too if you look at like an instant replay from his perspective. He was like looking
I was watching. Yeah,
3 different directions. There was like nothing he could do.
He's like left, right, left, right. Who's coming first? And then.
Well, Nifty at the very least sneaks off 1 kill here against Slemmy, so does a little bit more damage, which is going to be actually pretty helpful to try and keep that money in control in the event Renegades start stringing together a few rounds themselves. But just this 3-round run for complexity in itself is dangerous here, because now with this half by coming in from the Renegades, if they don't somehow upset on this one, then I mean 10-14, they've really only got like 1 or 2 big gun runs left on the Renegade side before complexity wins out this map, and they've got the lead, so it would be a 2-0 series for them too.
Yeah, Nifty's gonna have to do work with this op, and he gets the early pick on Ye, which is good for the Renegade side.
Def, he knows he's sprayed through too, so I think he's going to go for the second kill. Just shift walking his way out, trying to see if he can get it. Slemmy in the meanwhile, more trades happening. I want to focus on Nifty. Oh, Nifty. He just got completely out-navigated. He heard the footsteps though, so he knows his opponent's inside. Ultimately though, he's the last man standing, but with that kill, he may yet have a chance. Slemmy wants this ace though, so he's probably going to try to sit back and get it with the Mac 10. Nifty pushing in. Slemmy's at 1 HP. If he can take him down, it's just the op v op battle that he has to worry about. Nifty looks like he's going to be taking the route up platform, though, so Peter is going to end up being his first target if that's to be the case. And Peter wasting, no time. It's a good thing Nifty wasn't scoped in there, as that was a risky jump from Peter. Now he's out in the open, but misses it, so Nifty's able to re-peek himself. 1 HP from Slemmy to clutch against Nifty, but he has complete mystery. He can completely surprise Nifty here. Nifty's low on time. He's trying to push back and finds him there, but not enough to work off of it. And I believe Nifty has enough time to get this defused too, so it should be an 11th round for the Renegades. Great clutch from Nifty in the 1v3. And with that, the Renegades do indeed shoot up to 11. Just 2 rounds behind complexity.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Nifty's mechanical plays are so impressive. And that when Peter jump spotted him, he was on the left side for Peter, but then he crossed over to the other side and pre-aimed where he was, and Nifty already repositioned. That was impressive by Nifty.
And so with plays like that, he is able to push himself into first place for his team, 20-12. He's still not far behind though at 19 frags, so definitely some stuff being shown here from the Renegades. And again, to complexity, looking for these early peaks. They got to be a little bit more careful here now. Renegades armed to the teeth again. They've got the double op set up too, which I'm sure complexity doesn't know about just yet. They'll know pretty soon though. Nifty and JZ Walking's working though. Finally giving JZ Walking's the op, by the way. I think this is the first time we've seen him play with it, and he's again really kind of struggling here. Him and JKS lagging behind the rest of the team by 6 or more kills. So hopefully giving him this is going to spur him forward a little bit and get him to work a bit better on this CT side. They're going to jump it back in here too. Throws the molly down. That's going to send the boost players back, or drop players back a little bit. Android taking about 1/3 of his health away as a result of that one, but tosses in the nade. Unfortunately, Eustill is now long gone way in the back, so not going to get caught by that. The molly, unfortunately, is not going to do too much either, as they were already out of the sight, pushed away from it. So complexity does have that flat ground control that they can use to start kind of work it as a staging ground at the very least to start to push back out. As they're pushing up, they have the flashbang as well. The shots were nice. Actually, they could actually mask the flash sound there, but unfortunately still weren't able to find anyone with it. JZ Walking's having better luck with the op, though. He grabs one before being traded out by Def, and now more pushing out Ye. Finds Eustillo. Azur still stuck behind the rock position, but he's going to be able to trade out onto Ye there, bringing it back down into a 3v3. Android's catching Nifty completely unaware to the situation, though, and that's basically a free kill. Def whiffs on the spray big time, but he brings his opponent down so low, and now he's got another one for free, too. Def just walking into so many opportunities there, and he almost messed it up. Thankfully pieced it together though, and that's now a 14th round for complexity. Just 2 more to go, and they've got this series.
Yeah, and Nifty was sitting on 5k at the start of that round, so he goes for the op. They kind of need these rounds, and that's just another reset for Renegades. They just can't string any rounds together.
Yeah, so same as we were saying before, 1 or 2 really big gun rounds left for the Renegades, and that might have been one of them right there. With this force buy out, they're definitely not going to be looking too much better going into the next round. Slemmy saw the counter boost, didn't even need to handle it though, as the double nades that tossed back inside pretty much did the job for them. He's still out tagging a little bit here with the Deagle. Unfortunately, stayed out in the open for a bit too long, and now nades again are just going to completely wreck the HPs of these players. Eustillo's down at 15 now after getting hit by his. Azur 39, I believe, also as a result of those nades that killed Nifty earlier. So not a whole lot gained here by complexity in the early round. Just about 1/3 of the HP knocked off of Android, and that's it so far. That's going to change quickly, though, when they move into the site, as JKS catches 1 quick kill on Android. Unfortunately, they didn't get any more than that. Now even pushing out, despite being partially blinded, Def finding Estilo there, and the last two. Well, Azure scavenged the op, so more than likely JZ Walkings will just sit close to the door, and Azure is going to fall back with the op, so that they have at least some firepower going into what could be the last round of the map.
Yeah, it's a good decision to take that op into the next round, because they're going to need it if they want to push it to overtime. They forced into that round because they got reset, and this next round they're going to have the same amount of money with one op. So we'll see what they can do.
Might be worth it if they can afford it to try and maybe buy up some FAMASas and give people like raid boss FAMAS buys or something. We'll see, because there's definitely some.
Well, they'll have
leaders.
the 2 loss bonus, so I don't know if they'll have enough for FAMAS. Only some of them. No, not even.
No.
Next, yeah, they won't. Unless he gets a kill here. Not enough. Maybe ump buy or something.
That's unfortunate. I thought they'd at least get up to like 2,200 for 1 or 2 of those players, but not even the case. So they have to spread around umps is what they end up doing here. Azure just buys one on his own. JZ Walkings will get donated one, and he'll toss the... Actually, no, he throws the ump back over to JKS, I think? No, he just threw it. Okay. JZ just threw it over. Thought he was tossing it to someone else.
Just a lot of umps. That's all you need to know. A lot of
Basically. Nifty doesn't even get armor behind the op save, because I think he had to buy an ump for someone else in order to keep the op there. So he's still going to be on a glass cannon op despite having that from the last round. And it's slow again from compLexity on the beginning of this round. They haven't had a whole lot of trouble with just pushing in and getting these early kills, but all of a sudden here on what could be the last round of the series, all that's just gone. And they're playing basically a very straightforward default, which I'm a little bit worried about, because that's kind of pushing compLexity into this predictable pattern. That's where Renegades, in my opinion, could shut them down. You have to hope this is the unsuperior gunpowder that Renegades is working with here is going to be enough for compLexity to just walk the round. The flashes are going to go inside. Android, even better, though. Reacts to it, finds JKS and knocks him out, and that's a full rotate. They're going to cheat pretty much everybody except for JZ Walkings over in that direction, and it's a good thing that they do this, as they absolutely needed it. Nifty looking for the first shot. He's going to find it with the op. He's got that going at least. Brings it down to a 4v4. Azure's in trouble, though. Only 20 HP. Trying to tag onto some of these players. Nifty scouting out one more on the op. JZ Walkings sneaking in to get one himself, and now Android's going to try and lurk back in, sneak around, see if he can completely flank these guys out. He's safe behind the wall right now, but Slemmy had to fall back, and actually, this is so smart what they're doing here. Slemmy just falling back. They're going to go B, since Android was able to work his way in. Unless someone goes through the door and around him, then he's pretty much completely safe in this position. It's very unlikely someone going through the rat hole is going to kill him, and now they're going to be able to walk back up and get the plant. I think they realize now what's happening if they saw Android going through the shed there a couple moments ago. They're going to realize it, so they're going to try to lock him back out, making a whole lot of noise. The other side, flashes going through. They look for him inside. They don't spot him there, so he gets 1, 2, and not 3, actually. He goes down. He ran out of ammo at the very last second. So Azure, by the luck of his opponent running out of ammo, is going to be able to win that round for the Renegades and go up to 12.
Yeah, I like that play by Slemmy. He planted for Android, so if it did go to the bomb plant, and then he pushed up to make him think that he was the one in connector, and they didn't expect Android. That was good. These rounds are just back and forth, and Renegades with the rebuy.
Yeah, compLexity still have that cash, thankfully for them, so they're not out of this running just yet. But Renegades also get another opportunity, and now their buys become even better. They are able to upgrade themselves a little bit more here, getting themselves a FAMAS onto a FAMAS onto Estilo, 3 M4s for the rest of the team, and Nifty still having that op, that glass cannon op that we were seeing him use in the last round too. He's going to be sticking with it for round number 13 of the second half. And it's still that slow default, again, from Cole that we saw in the last round too, just keeping their players back. They are going to look to investigate a little bit more. As you can see the boost up here from Ye. He's up on top of that one, so he's going to try and see if he can pick off someone earlier on here on the platform push. There's no one up on top of the steps, though, so unless Estilo peaks broken, there really isn't going to be a whole lot to be seen, and it looks like Estilo is just keeping himself hidden in the corner, waiting for some big push to work its way out of the team offset, which is likely to happen, so it's a good position, a good setup overall from the Renegades. Took a big risk on having only Nifty back over here towards the A bomb site, but it may pay off now if compLexity does indeed commit to this 5-man push on the B, and with time getting lower and lower, and a 4-man push being a common stack.
Looking like maybe a B split. Through drop.
They've got Android ready to move in, and he is trying to peek towards it to get intel there. You can see him shooting towards JKS, but that just gave him away. So JKS finally fires back, takes down Android. First kill of the round goes towards the Renegades here. Def and the others. Let's see if they can make up for that, but Ustillo takes down Ye up on boost himself at 2, so it's going to be able to knock him out of the picture. JKS sitting behind the windowsill too is also just waiting for players to move out of drop. They found the bomb trying to quickly rotate towards A, so it fell apart pretty quickly here for compLexity. I mean, this is great for the Renegades, unless Def has some hero play right here, which he's going to be able to get 2 kills. Now, hold on, because that's going to draw attention back the other way. The bomb, though, is still on the ground. That's the problem, and they still have to get these 3 kills in time, so that's what's eventually going to allow it to go over to the Renegades. But if there was maybe like 30 more seconds on that clock, maybe even 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, it would have been doable, but...
Just too much they would have had to navigate around
these
there.
These rounds that Renegades win are like one person, like other than that one, it's like one person alive, two people alive, like just down to the wire.
So now the buys from compLexity get rather dire here, and this is where Renegades could just take this to OT after what I'm sure compLexity would be very mad about if this doesn't. Even just going to OT, I'm sure they're probably going to get pretty mad about, considering if they lose what would have been their match point off of like 1 or 2 bullets difference, as we saw just 2 rounds back. So that's very unfortunate, but not a lot they could do about that. So now they have to come back from this, as they are going to be the ones with the lax buy this time. 2 Deagles. They do have the Op and AK combo sitting on Peter and Def. But Slemmy's down on a P250, so he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. And it's very, very quiet again. No more of that earlier aggression from compLexity, and I'm a little bit disappointed we saw that go away, as that was working really well for them when we had players going out trying to find these earlier picks. Obviously on a round like this, it's not too common to expect something like that to be seen. But that went away as soon as they got to 15 rounds, so maybe playing a little bit too passively here. JKS will be waiting along with Nifty. They've got a 2-man setup over here on the A bomb set already, and again, they're running the timer down very, very low before being able to push in. And now, finally, they're going to start to go for around 35 seconds. JKS knows it's coming, so just easily gets these 2 kills here. But the 2 kills get traded back pretty quickly. Azure does find Slemmy trying to lurk back over inside of drop, though, and is trying to spray through to kill the remaining players. Unsuccessfully, however. So Peter and Def are going to get that control. They had to use the other 3 players on pistols as cannon fodder, but they got the job done. And now Peter, along with his teammate, are going to look to clutch in a 1v3 or 2v3. Now it's a 2v2, however. After they found that first kill, Peter catching one player, trying to lurk through the mid connector. He's still jumping down, able to find Def, and now they already know where Peter's at. Flashbang going over it. They do miss it partially, but Peter also doesn't have the greatest position to play out this. They know he's an alleyway. They saw him jumping, and he still is up on top of the shed too. Gets that first one, trying to go back behind this wood now and just waste as much time as possible. He's done a great job of it. In fact, he has to throw it away now. Even with this kill, he does not have enough time. So Peter, just by playing the waiting game, is going to be able to close out on this second map, and compLexity will take it. Whoa, 16-13, as they will take control of this second map, and with that, they will win the series 2-0. So they'll be moving forward to take on Cloud9 tomorrow, and that'll close out this set.
Yeah, compLexity's going to be happy with that result, especially since they're changed a couple people, beating Renegades, so that's good for them, and that was a nice clutch by Peter at the end.
Yeah, the real test for them is going to come from their matchup tomorrow. However, like we said, when they're going to be playing against Cloud9.
Yeah.
But Cloud9 also, obviously, as we've seen today, still has quite a few things to work out on. Their vetoes and their maps overall, and they still have a couple of holes in it, whereas obviously compLexity didn't make as many massive changes to their roster, so they might be able to pull off an upset there. We'll have to wait and see. And like we said before, guys, that match is going to be tomorrow. You can see, though, on the bottom left side of the bracket, those are our next 2 matches. I don't know exactly which one we're going to be doing just yet. We'll be getting that info for you guys as soon as possible. Do stick with us, and when that next match is ready, we're going to be bringing it to you right here, once again, from the ESL One New York 2017 North American Closed Qualifiers.